What's going on, TBL people? How we doing? Welcome to what week is this? Week 5, where we got the Pallet Town Paladins taking on the ROM Empoleons. It's me, Addy. It's my first commentary of the season, but I'm joined by two lovely people who I think have been around the ringer a little bit more than myself. Say hello.
I'm JG. Fortunately not in this year. Hopefully I'll be there next year. But I'm here, ready to commentate and get this all rolling.
And it's your boy Talamaster J here, ready for week 5 of the TBL. And this should be a very good matchup, guys, because after this, we've only got one more game, and then we're heading to a bye week.
Yeah, thank God, really. I mean, I think we're all I think we're all tired and ready for it to take a little break, aren't we? No, I think it's been a great season so far. And it seems like it's been a great season for both of these players. Both had 3 wins and 1 loss. Um, Fin obviously having a couple more points than Aaron, but both sort of in the middle to top of the standings in their respective divisions. And a win would definitely solidify both competitors in a really strong playoff position, whereas a loss might put them a little bit more in the fight, so to speak. So definitely still some important things on the line here for both players. And we got two very strong teams here as well. See the Pallet Town Paladins sporting the Annihilate and Iron Treads combination. Very strong, sort of physically offensive duo. And then we have the Roman Empoleons, who had the somewhat controversial round 1 Teal Pawn, but have been making it work with a lot of momentum heavy mons like Palafin and Zapdos. Do you two have any sort of analyses on the matchup?
So, at first glance, when looking at these two teams, I mean, I'll start with the Roman Polians since I have a little bit of experience battling them already in a very, very close match between the two of us. Uh, Aaron, yeah, I remember we had a little bit of discussion about him with the round 1 Teal Pawn, but so far he's been making it work, even though he did not bring Ogre Pond to our matchup. So unfortunately, I can't say much about everybody's favorite girl in the teal mask.
Mm.
But I do know that Palafin has been putting in the work for Aaron. It's been putting in a lot of kills right now, and as it stands, based on uh, the the stats right now, if I'm not mistaken, that Palafin is, believe it or not, it is not his best Pokemon. His best Pokemon right now is the Probopass. Had
Well,
five,
I
and it literally got 5 kills and 1 death in the only game it's come.
that makes sense. I mean, I think that's just sort of the what we see in this league sometimes with the unpredictable Terras. Sometimes just getting a crazy sweep. Obviously, Palafin has presumably been more consistent for Aaron throughout the season. But who knows? Maybe we'll see another surprise Terra from either the Uxie or the Probopass. I mean, I really think that Uxie is a very strong Terra captain. Mesprit is quite known as a very strong Terra captain, so I never really understood why Uxie couldn't be just as good of one. So that's something that Fin's going to have to keep an eye out for. But he's got some very strong Terra captains of his own. Kilowattrel did really great for me my last TBL season, just being able to sort of pair electric coverage with any other typing. And then Gyarados being able to have a surprise Terra type, click Dragon Dance, and threaten a sweep. Very, very scary, and a lot of sort of snowballing potential on both sides. You mentioned Palafin, which I think is an interesting mon this matchup because at first glance you would see an Alamomola and you would think that that really shuts down Palafin right off the bat. But Palafin has a lot of really unique ways that it can 1v1 Alamomola with sub bulk upsets, with like even special sets with Boom Burst, or just flip turning out on it, right? And you see the Roman Folions have the Ogre Pawn, they have the Zapdos, they have things that capitalize on it. So I think if Finfin wants to win this game, he's gonna have to be prepared for Palafin in more ways than one, so to speak. Um, I think so. But on Finfin's side, some pretty strong mons of his own. I mean, I think the Mew has a lot of potential. Um, it's a strong setup sweeper. As I do the Gyarados. I think the Gyarados looks like a very strong setup sweeper, although it's also a Palafin resist, so it's going to kind of double in both those roles. The Iron Treads, obviously, incredibly strong here. Um, obviously, there's a few ground immunities in the form of Uxie and Zapdos, but knockoff Ice Spinner, just the right coverage could threaten to kill every single time it comes in. Yeah, I think we got some strong mons on both sides, and it'll be interesting to see what everyone brings.
And the other thing to note with this battle right now, the Roman Polians are 3-1, as you mentioned in the lead up, Addy. We see the point totals right now, and Finfin did it again with uh the the graphic here. You guys do see it says 3-1 plus 5. That's Finfin's differential. That's not his points. Finfin has 8 points in the TBL right now. If Finfin wins this battle 4-0, Addy, he jumps you.
That's all right. We'll see if he can. We'll we'll have to watch and find out, right? So let's get into it. Definitely let our coaches know that they're ready to go. And get into the match there. I think Finfin will probably win this game if he can sort of play around Palafin correctly and determine a win condition that in Sweep Aaron's team. I think Aaron wins this team or wins this game if he can keep up momentum, right? Get a hazard up, click Volt Switch, click U-turn, sort of keep the pressure on his side of things. As far as teams go, for those watching, not sure who is, on Finfin's side, we're going to see a Choice Scarf Annihilate, presumably a strong win con here, and one that looks very good in Aaron's team, seeing that the Zapdos is not brought, nor the Alolan Muck, so there's no Ghost Resist. And then you also see 2 Citrus Berries, so we're looking at kind of maintaining longevity. We see a red card, Alamomola, presumably to force out some setup. Offensive Iron Treads and a sort of pivoting Revenging Kilowattrel, whereas Aaron's side, we see the Scarf Ogre Pawn. So that's going to threaten the Scarf Annihilate for sure. We see a physically defensive Scizor with Defog. We see a choice banded Palafin, so instead of opting to set up on the Alamomola, it's just going to flip turn out, which I think is a very interesting set because those sets usually just kind of lose to Rocky Helmet, Alamomola. We see a Gastron here, which is a very interesting mon. It's going to be really effective into the Kilowattrel. We see a Choice Scarf Archaludon as well. So double Scarf here with Ogre Pawn and Archaludon. And it'll be a question of if Finfin preserves enough sort of defensive pieces to switch into Draco Meteors, because while we don't see a Fairy type on Finfin's team, we do have the AV Iron Treads at least. So yeah, and then I think a really interesting breaker on Aaron's team is this Terra Ground Nasty Plot Uxie. So very keen to see how this works out. And yeah, let's get into it.
All right, sound the bell.
We're gonna see Aaron leading with Palafin and Finfin leading with Mew. So right off bat here, the Palafin, it's either going to manually switch out here, guys, or I think it's going to go for something like that flip turn here do some damage into this Mew on Finfin's side, and more importantly, switch out while also probably revealing to Finfin that it is a choice band Palafin.
Look, this Palafin is adamant, and you know, Aaron has no information about this Mew. If I'm Aaron, I'm hard switching out because a T-Wave could be coming off, a super effective hit could be coming off, but he's gonna stay in here, which is quite brave. You know, if Aaron was an all, or sorry, if Finfin was an all-out attacking set, that could have been it. But Flip Turn's gonna come off, and Finfin should be able to calc that damage and deduce that that is a choice banded Palafin.
Well, Fin would know Palafin best. He loves that mon.
I would think so, right? So hopefully he knows that
So,
it's choice banded.
and in comes that Yuxi.
In comes Yuxi. I think, you know, it would be really smart to click Super Fang here onto this Yuxi, or potentially knockoff. I think one spike is definitely sufficient. You don't want to get greedy here. You want to be able to sort of pressure what's in front of you. So both knockoff and Super Fang, very viable plays here. And if this Yuxi does click Nasty Plot, there is the Encore in the back as well. So Leftovers is going to come off. We are going to see the Nasty Plot, and that's going to be very encoreable.
It'll be very interesting to see if Finfin decides to reveal that Encore right now against Aaron's Pokemon here, as we're just going to see Aaron activating the Terra Orb here, firing at Yuxi, and Yuxi is going to become one with the Earth as a ground type.
Unfortunately, this
levitates.
This Yuxi is not going to be able to get much done here since Encore exists. I mean, Finfin doesn't really have a choice here. He has to click Encore, and that's absolutely fine because, you know, with Super Fang plus Knockoff, you should always be winning this interaction. So Finfin can very reliably just spam Super Fang here, force some chip either on this Yuxi, which is locked in, or force a switch and get a free 50% off. Super Fang is definitely the correct play here. Knockoff wouldn't be terrible, but I think Super Fang would cover all bases for sure.
Yeah, 'cause somebody's gonna get this.
Yeah, it's just a free 50%, you know, and with that plus spikes, it can be quite scary. So we're going to see the Gastrodon come in, and Super Fang's going to come off, and honestly, I think that this Mew can pretty safely click Knockoff here.
Keep the pressure on.
Keep the pressure on. Obviously, Stick and Hold is possible, but knowing that Alamomola exists, you'd think it would be Storm Drain. And there's not much that, you know, Gastrodon can really do to threaten this Mew, so Knockoff's going to be quite free here. And this Gastrodon really can't opt to recover, because if it does, it's just going to get locked into Encore.
Yep.
Stealth
Storm
Rock
Drain.
comes off. Yep, Storm Drain. And now this Gastrodon's in a precarious spot because it doesn't want to get encored into Stealth Rocks. So the question is, does Finfin predict this Gastrodon to switch out and click Knockoff, or does Finfin play it safe and click Encore here?
I think Knockoff might actually be the play here, because depending on this Gastrodon's investment, I mean, we know that the Gastrodon here, it seems to be a bulkier Gastrodon, and it was possible that maybe Knockoff, depending on the investment of Finfin's Yuxi here, it could have knocked it out. Knockoff comes out, though, and doing sort of negligible damage to the Scizor there, gives the appearance that maybe there's not a lot of attack investment into this Mew.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. And a very bold play going into Annihilate here, because if Defog comes off, then there's a Defiant boost, which is amazing. But you're also risking things like Dual Wing Beat, which obviously it doesn't have. U-Turn's going to come off, which is going to give Annihilate a big Rage Fist boost. That's great for Finfin. Absolutely great for Finfin, I'd say.
Also, just looking over at the chat here, Half Nasty, no. Water Pond is the best girl.
I'm a big fan of Rock Pond, if you all like.
Thank you for saying it. Rock Pond, best pond.
Absolutely. So it's really interesting here. I think Finfin can use this as an opportunity to click U-turn and just go right back into Mew. Get more spikes up. You know, I would not play with this. I would click U-turn and get some damage. And you know, you punish setup by going into why are you clicking Stone Edge? Don't click Stone Edge. What's going on here? Yeah, U-turn is safe. I seriously doubt the Rage Fist is going to pick up the KO, and you are risking you know, potentially dying to an attack. So U-turn's coming off here, and yeah, let's see. You know, Mew can pretty safely come in here. You could also arguably go into well, no, you probably can't go into the Iron Treads because you don't have anything to hit it. I mean, you could go into the Iron Treads and try and spin, which isn't a bad idea because there is no spin blocking.
We're gonna see Side Shot come out here. This is gonna be resisted, and that just bounced off of Iron Treads with the resist.
Yeah, it did very little. I think this is a very nice opportunity to click Rapid Spin here, force the rocks off the side of the field, and given how low Gaston is, I don't think Aaron's going to find very much more opportunity to potentially click rocks again.
But here's that Terra Ground Terra Blast, and
that's
Iron
fine.
Treads survives it.
Does quite a bit, yeah, and unfortunately, Iron Treads might need a switch here, unless it wants to die. I mean, arguably, Finfin could make a very aggressive switch into Annihilate here. Kilowattrel would work just as well. The concern with Kilowattrel is if Gaston comes in, that could spell disaster. I think if I'm Finfin, I'm clicking U-turn here.
Yeah, but the U-turn here, you might. I was gonna say, and I did say might because that bounced off of this Yuxi.
It bounced, but the reason you would do that is, right, you can go back into you know, Treads or Mew, and you've baited, you know, a weaker attack. You've covered for the Gaston coming in, so I don't think it really goes wrong for Finfin in any situation here. You could just click knockoff again quite safely.
Or get some more spikes up.
More spikes up would be interesting. I think the concern with getting more spikes up is this Scizor does have defog, right? So
Scizor doesn't have its boots though, so there's going to be a cost.
exactly. Well, that is the important question.
Well, in comes Spikes, putting more hazards out on the side of Aaron here. Here comes that Terra Ground Terra Blast. How much will this do to the? How much will this do to this Mew?
Not very
Brings
much.
it maybe at about 35%, but that Citrus Berry is going to bring it well over 50%.
Yeah, I think you could just click knockoff here and pick up the KO. Obviously, spikes are important, but again, this Scizor can just defog them away. Not entirely sure if more layers is correct, but Finfin might opt to go for it since he's already sort of committed.
And if
Seems like
Scizor tries to defog, Annihilate will just come in on Defiant.
Well, that's what I'm sort of expecting here. It's just always going to be a risk, right? Because Annihilate, it's basically calling that this Scizor isn't dual wing beat, which is correct. But it's definitely playing quite bold in doing that. Looks like
he's doing the thing.
He's going to do the thing. Fair enough. I mean, you're always threatening it, right? You're always threatening Defiant here. So we do
And
see
there's the
defog. That's going to be a
defog.
+1. Look at that. I mean, that means Rage Fist is literally just going to pick up like a KO, which is incredible. Unresisted. There's not a single ghost resist on the team. Looks like Scizor is going to just trade it.
And that's more rage.
Yeah, that's a little bit more ragey with the +2, and Scizor is down.
It's worth noting too that this Almamola has Healing Wish. So, you know, if Finfin can position this correctly, doesn't really matter how much damage this thing has taken. Almamola will be able to Healing Wish, and you'll have a Scarf, what is it, 150 base power Rage Fist coming off? And I think that's quite optimal, because Aaron's best way to beat this Annihilate right now is with his Scarf Ogerpon. There it is. Now the hope is obviously that Finfin plays this safe and switches out here, because I'm pretty sure Scarf Cudgel might be able to do it. Maybe not, though. Potentially not. I mean, this is 180 HP on this Annihilate. Obviously, you're risking a crit with the Ivy Cudgel. Is that worth it? I'm not sure. And does Finfin have another play?
Well, here comes that Ivy Cudgel. And
Ooh,
Annihilate survives.
That's massive. Risking that crit, fucking massive. This is going to be a very, very dead Ogerpon, and what that's actually going to mean is, you know, this Annihilate might be able to Healing Wish things up later.
Well, in comes Palafin, and it has emerged as a hero.
Absolutely. Gyarados is going to come in here. This Palafin is very much forced to click.
Jet Punch.
Jet Punch, yeah. This Gyarados is Intimidate. It is max defense. It's not going to take very much. Now, if I'm Finfin here, and I know that this thing is Choice Banded, I'm making a double. I'm making a double right here into Kilowattrel, potentially Almamola, but I think, you know, honestly, there's very little reason for this Palafin to stay in here. Memories is going to come in. That is the Uxie. So Uxie can, you know, click T-Bolt if it wants, but this Almamola is Spadef. You could just see a Wish come off if it decides to do anything else. Or you can get a Flip turn off, one of the two. There's a Thunderbolt. Do very little, and Uxie's going to get red carded out.
There you go.
There's the red card. But what comes in? Because it's random, and it's the Palafin.
Now the question is, does Banded Palafin KO this thing with close combat? I don't know.
Without looking at calcs, I doubt it.
382. I mean, it's not physically defensive Almamola. If it ends up being the case that close combat doesn't kill, we could see a free flip turn here, and that will heal up Annihilate if a free flip turn is allowed. Question is, does close combat kill? He doesn't even opt for it, so might be the case that Gastron comes in here. And Gastron can easily come in, that's fine, but it's going to allow for another wish. I think more wishes means that, well, Gastron's probably dead to hazards, isn't it? Or no, it's not, because hazards aren't up. I'm silly.
Flip turn comes out, and that's a critical hit too, but it activates Archaladon's stamina. So while Alomomola gets the regenerator here, it didn't go for the healing wish. So now this Annihilate, even though that Annihilate has a 150 base power on its Rage Fist here, it does get the wish though. I didn't even see wish get clicked there.
Yeah, no, that was why this play was so crucial, was wish into Annihilate. So preserving the healing wish, just healing it with a wish in itself. Now this Archaladon is Scarf and will outspeed this Annihilate. I don't think it's worth Finfin switching or staying in. I think, you know, you've healed the Annihilate. You can't really kill it from this range. So you can go back into Almamola, Wish again. Not really a reason not to. And clicking Rage Fist here is a bit greedy. Don't like it, because remember, you're staring down a +1 Arcalodon. Yeah, don't know how I feel about clicking Rage Fist here.
Personally, I'm not a fan of it, but in comes that
I'm not a
Draco
fan
Meteor.
of it
Start
either.
Draco Meteor. Annihilate survives it though because of Annihilate's amazing special defense, and this is now 200 base power. Rage Fist, and our Jalodon survives.
Yeah, I mean, Finfin's now going to have to switch out here. Arguably, you could go back into the Almola and just rinse and repeat. I mean, the concern with doing that is obviously that Gastron can come in. In fact, it might make a double in here. Soup. Who's Soup?
The Palafin. And Annihilate switches out here. And in comes the Alomomola once again.
I mean, this is a free flip turn because if Palafin clip, I mean, well, I guess there's a concern that Gastron could come in, but you know, if Palafin stays in and clicks close combat, and this Alamola clicks flip turn, it's a free kill for Annihilate. Aaron has to be very conscious of that, right? So you would think that a flip turn would be coming off here into Gastrodon to stop a flip turn of Finfin's. So maybe Wish is a correct play here. Cover all bases. Definitely like that. Close combat's going to come off. But what that means is, again, this is choice banded. So you can go into your ghost type here if you really want to. Heal it right back up again.
And that's what he does.
Finfin is very aware that this is a choice banded Annihilate.
It looks like Finfin is doing that. And in comes that Archaludon, potentially to get the wish on this Annihilate. But again, Annihilate, it's just been stacking those Rage Fist boosts.
That it has, yeah. And I'm pretty sure that Aaron can't really get out of this cycle without a critical on Annihilate. But it's very possible that Finfin can just play it safe here. He has the tools to do so. So he can go into something like Mew, chew a Draco Meteor potentially, and just put himself in a better position.
And because that Draco Meteor, Mew
survives.
7!
Living on 7, yeah.
That is massive for Finn because now he can get this knockoff essentially, but no, the Draco comes out and just knocks out Mew, so Mew is finally down.
Yeah, that's a choice scarf Arcalodon, but I think it's okay. Interestingly enough too, this Gyarados is Dragon Dance, and I think Dragon Dance might actually potentially have a shot here. I think at the end of the day, though, Aaron's just going to have to hope for a crit because this Scarf Annihilate is looking like a very, very strong win con. He doesn't end up going for it. He's going to choose to sack here. He actually sacks the Gastrodon. The thing that's tricky about this play, right, is Gastrodon was the one thing that was stopping flip turn with Alamola. So now flip turn is very, very free.
It is free, but at the same time, the Archaludon makes a return to the field, and we know that Archaludon is faster than this Annihilate, but the Archaludon doesn't necessarily have to go for Draco Meteor here. It can go for Dragon Pulse and just get raw guaranteed damage here.
I don't think either of those are winning plays. I mean, at the end of the day, Finfin can play it very safe here. Go into his Iron Treads, chew the hit, and then just go back into Annihilate later. The only way that Finfin loses here is if Annihilate gets crit. So if he can sort of stop that condition, see if he stayed in there, that could have potentially been bad. Was that not a crit?
No, that was not a crit. So
what the hell? Iron Treads sucks.
So Iron Treads goes down here. If Finn loses another Pokemon in this match, then he would only get 2 points, and a win would actually tie him with you, Addy. But at the same time,
wow,
Aaron's doing pretty well right here, but now that this Archalno is at -2 on its special attack, this is a pretty free Dragon Dancer on a switch.
It is, yeah. I think you can click Dragon Dance very freely here. Very freely, actually, because you know that this Palafin is choice banded. And you have the Citrus Berry intact, and you can pretty easily terrestrialize this Gyarados in front of the Uxie. And feel pretty comfortable with it, too.
Well, in comes that Dragon Dance, so this Gyarados is starting to power itself up.
I think if I'm Finfin, I'm just going for the kill here, and basically hoping that you can tank a hit down the line from Caledon.
Oh, he hit. He went for Stone Edge there. I mean, it was his only attacking move into this Uxie, so he was risking the 80% accuracy there.
Yeah, I'm surprised not to see a Terra to cover, missing and then dying to a T-Bolt, but
Well, now Archalon comes back.
Works every time.
Yeah,
but now Archalon comes back out here, and depending on the investment of this Gyarados, I'm not even sure it can survive a Draco Meteor here. But also important to note, the Archalon does not have any stamina boosts, and who knows if Scarf Archalon is faster than this Gyarados at +1. Because it's basically
it definitely is, because this is a physically defensive Gyarados. Dragon Dance is just a filler move, but it's actually worked out quite well here. I'd be willing to bet that Draco Meteor is not going to pick up the KO. Now, obviously, that's going to mean potentially crit being needed here. Nope, no crit.
No. But the Citrus Berry does come out though and heals up the Gyarados back past 50%. So this is a +1 Earthquake, and unfortunately, Bridge plus Earthquake equals you're probably collapsing.
I think so too. Palafin's going to come in here. It basically has to question what move to lock into. I don't think, obviously it can't lock into close combat because it'll lose the game. But it might want to try and catch an Alamomola switch and just deny Finfin a point. Instead, we're going to see the Jet Punch pop off here. Not actually going to kill. And if I'm Finfin, I'm considering going into Alamomola here to preserve the extra bit. But it's entirely possible that the 2 Jet Punches kill. Who knows? Let's find out.
Yeah, let's find out here.
279. Nah, I think Alamomola is about to chew this hit. So if we see a flip turn,
ooh, could see a Healing Wish.
Healing Wish would deny 2 points, wouldn't it? Or 3 points.
It would deny the 3 points.
If I'm Finfin, I think I'm just clicking flip turn here.
Because that Jet Punch, Alomomola survives it, and there goes that flip turn into the Palafin, doing minimal damage, but more importantly, allowing Alomomola to switch out here and regenerate some of that lost health.
Yeah, again, we're questioning if this is going to be a critical. But I'm pretty sure even if this criticals, there is an out. No critical. So that's going to be a 4-0 win. Well done. That Annihilate was played masterfully. And I think at this end of the game, what is it, 250, 300 base power Rage Fist?
Ding, ding, ding.
Something like that.
Yeah, very, very well played. I think very few misplays on Finfin's side of things, with the exception of, well, I don't know. I don't think there were very many misplays. I think at the end of the day, actually, I think some of my presumptions about, the spikes and things were quite wrong, because Aaron did actually value clicking defog, and that enabled Annihilate pretty brutally. I will say, I think part of this loss also comes from Aaron benching the Zapdos. I think having a static Zapdos would have been quite impactful too. So, 3 points. Best in the league right now, Fin. Hello, and we got Aaron in here with us.
Hello.
Hello.
So, unfortunately, I noticed my Yuxi didn't have the right nature.
Oh no.
Oh
no.
no.
Uh-oh.
What was it supposed
I
to be?
was timid. I was calm.
Oh no.
How much speed did you have on it?
216.
216.
I think Mew would have still outsped with Encore.
Yeah, my
so-
Mew was max speed, Jolly.
Oh yeah. And yeah, made sense.
Yeah, honestly, I was so nervous as to whether or not Scizor had dual wing beat, and I'm just like,
I was saying that the whole time. It's like I feel like if I
I-
was in your position, I would have played around the dual wing beat, but you were just calling it.
I had dual wing beat, but I changed it last second because I was like, why am I not running knockoff? Because your team is heavily weak to hazards, as is mine. But yeah,
no, that
Yeah,
makes
I think
that makes sense. I got greedy because I won't lie. The first time I went into it, I was like, all right, it's either going to be U-turn or defog. The second time, I'm like, oh wait, this thing gets dual wing beat. If this gets clicked, I'm screwed.
I almost clicked knockoff there. It would have helped me, but because you were scarf, I knew you were scarf. By the way, you were. Playing.
Yeah, I did not do anything to try and hide that, which I figured I knew that and you knew that, and that's ultimately what helped me know that Archaludon and Ogerpon were both Scarf, although Ogerpon, it didn't end up mattering. Because my thought process was either you're not Scarf and I outspeed, and I just kill, or you are Scarfed, at which point, at the health I was at, if you were max attack adamant, Ivy Cudgel wasn't killing, and so I figured it was worth going for.
I should have clicked knockoff. That was my misplay. Not clicking knockoff more.
That makes sense.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that. I think obviously your team is put in a very awkward position versus Annihilate because you want to remove the hazards with defog, but you're simultaneously afraid of the Defiant. And if you click U-turn instead of defog, then you're giving Rage Fist boost. So yeah, something like knockoff, something like dual wing beat, or even just like the combination of a couple rocky helmets or things could have, I think, made the difference versus this Annihilate. But it's always hindsight. And
I was debating the second time between knockoff and defog. Taking knockoff and defog because I knew you were going Annihilate.
Yeah, I won't lie.
But
based off the earlier U-turn damage, it was so minimal I couldn't really get any information on the item because it's quad resisted, so I didn't know if you were banded or anything else like that. And when the reason I clicked the third layer of spikes on the Mew, I didn't think they were staying up. I thought it would force you to reveal if you were gonna click defog or not, and basically force it out.
to be fair, you knock off my boots like early in the game.
Oh, that's right, I did.
So
I spaced
so
on
it
that.
was no item.
Yeah, no, you are right. I totally spaced on that. But no,
I think the Scizor and Ileap interaction really is a win-win for you, Fin, because either defog comes off and you get the boost, or some attack does and you get some. So, I mean, and even if defog comes off, great, you have the boost and you kill the Scizor. If it doesn't come off, then 3 layers of spikes stay up. So
yeah, that was ultimately the thought process, because if you didn't, then I would go into something that potentially could kill or at least force out the Scizor and just start punishing it long term.
But at the time, the only thing that did punish me was, well, Annihilate, but apart from that, Hilo, because I lived everything from the rest of them.
Gotcha. I won't.
Defense.
I won't lie, I thought I made a major misplay when I clicked flip turn on the Alola Mola, because I thought you were going to bring in Gastrodon on the flip turn. I'm like, as soon as I clicked it, I'm like, oh, I misplayed so hard.
I almost went Gastrodon. Because if I went Gathro, I could have gotten the rocks up.
Yeah.
That would have helped me.
Yeah, because the only mon I had that was boots was the Kilowatt Troll. And
Yeah.
so Gyarados was Dragon Dance. The reason I clicked Stone Edge, that was the only move I had to kill the Uxie. My Gyarados was
no
Earth...
water. It was Earthquake, Terra Blast.
Nope.
What was it?
Roar. In case you had a substitute bulk up set from Palafin, because it can just wall Alola Mola with Covert Cloak.
Fair.
And so it was Roar, and I originally had Thunder Wave instead of Dragon Dance, but I was convinced by a very wise mentor that Dragon Dance was just better.
So my Uxie set was the correct set, but I used it too early.
Well, that's what I was thinking at the start of the match when I saw both teams. Is like this Uxie set, this Terra Ground Levitate does kind of wall half of Fin's team, but because it took so much damage early on, it wasn't as big of an issue.
Yeah. I was debating between ground and water.
Yeah.
I
think ground was correct for sure.
Yeah. And now Finn, you are now with this 4-0 win. You are tied with the Canadian Ceruledges for the best record in the TBL at 4-1 with 11 points. How does it feel?
So it feels really good, and the reason why is my goal for the year is I want to finish the regular season at least 7-3 record-wise, because that'll do two things. One, that'll get me my 20th league win in TBL, and two, it will put me over 500 in my TBL career, and like that's my big goal right now. And Aaron's name on the schedule was a big one that I was worried was going to be one of the losses, because as Aaron will tell you, when he and I play, all hell breaks loose, and I'm always scared of some of the very unique sets, because there have been some times where I've beaten Aaron where I got bailed out by RNG, and I'll fully admit that. And it's always a nerve-wracking match to face Aaron. And so I got some great advice and help this week, and so I really appreciate that. And yeah, it was ultimately just trying to make sure I need to tell Goldoa to start putting me higher in the draft order, because I'm tired of facing Palafin, because I hate planning against it, because it's my favorite mon, and because it's so damn scary, especially against my team that did not have that many water resistance.
Guys, I wonder why Palafin would be Fin's favorite Pokemon. Does anybody have a reasoning behind that?
Because it's busted. It's busted.
It's a whale.
To be fair, Fin, you did get your revenge for Ubers.
Yes. Oh, well, to be fair, this is my revenge for Ubers, and you beating me was your revenge for regular season in Uber, so it's a chain.
Exactly.
Which reminds me, did you end up winning? I never saw the score posted.
We haven't played yet.
that I can't wait for that one to come out. But no, this was a great match, and yeah, no, Addie gave me some wonderful tips and pointers and constructive feedback on my sets that absolutely were big. So I really do appreciate that, Addie. I felt like I was playing relatively well in the position. It was just, I think the big thing was seeing the nasty plot, because I won't lie, aside from the Palafin, the Uxie was the scariest thing you had, and so that's why it's like we had, Mon's design that could stop the setups and stop things like that, because I genuinely thought Palafin was going to be like Punching Glove, bulk up substitute or something like that, because that just walls a Alola Mola easily.
Fair. I didn't have any help.
What is this help word that you guys are talking about?
It's a thing the court's ordered me to get when it comes to psychiatrics health.
And Finn showed up in my DMs on his hands and his knees, basically begging me for any semblance of insight.
I'm not going to dispute that claim.
No, I'm pretty sure like the general team structure was mostly you. I think the suggestions I had mostly were Encore on that Mew, and then
And then Dragon Dance instead of Thunderwave.
Yeah, so I don't know. Maybe I don't know. Anyway, you pulled it off very well.
No,
and yeah.
I greatly appreciate it.
Well,
So I've been kind of.
I gotta also say, I gotta appreciate how bold your EV spreads were with Annihilate. Like that bulk on Annihilate really is the thing that won you the game.
Oh yeah.
Being able to tank that Ivy Cudgel, being able to tank that Draco Meteor, while still obviously having enough HP to get enough HP back from the Wish. So well, you might say it's Dragon Dance or Encore or whatever. I think it's really the EV spread on the Annihilate that really secured it for you.
I appreciate it. Yeah, the big thing with it is there wasn't a whole lot of Mons that I saw that had setup options that gave them speed as well. They had a lot of priority, but it's like, all right, I'm basically just going to speed creep fastest Mon without Scarf, and then anything that has Scarf without, either a crit or something crazy can't one-shot it. And so I felt healthy enough to, it's like, I can take a hit if they do Scarf it, and if they don't, then I'm just outspeeding and killing, was kind of the thought process. Because the big thing was I wanted to try and keep Annihilate past roughly the 50 to 60% range, because that would have put it at a chance for Jet Punch to kill. And so it would have kind of been a bit of an interesting. I debated clicking Healing Wish on the Alola Mola, but if it wasn't for the fact that I was sitting at 4 Mons, I'm like, I'm going to try and preserve this. But if
that Addy was wondering about with the Healing Wish there, and I was also wondering it because we weren't sure if you would click it there, given the fact that you were trying to potentially secure those 3 points with that 4-0 win.
I felt like I could afford to be greedy there because I had the Intimidate still that I could use if I had to lower the attack.
Yeah. See, to me, it's like, at least the way I perceive these games is a 4-0 is different than a 3-0, which is quite similar to a 1-0. So if you're sort of balancing the scales between a 4-0 and a 3-0, and you're considering clicking Healing Wish there, you may as well make the gutsy play to get the 4-0, and if you don't, I think you had enough tools to come out with at least a 1-0, assuming that, if Annihilate got crit or something like that, right?
That was ultimately the thought I had, because I had Gyarados healthy with the Intimidate. And my other thought process was that's why I didn't swap into the Alola Mola earlier, is I wanted to see what move was going to get clicked, because I didn't want to swap. So when I had the Gyarados, I didn't want to swap into the Alola Mola and have it take a close combat from Aaron just trying to rob me of a point. And I figured Gyarados, with how much bulk I have on there, unless it's like a Wave Crash, I should live. And if it's Wave Crash, tip my hat, but now I can just come in and guarantee the win. So that was just ultimately, I felt like I could afford to be risky because worst case scenario, I had outs. But I think it just all came from the earlier plays of getting rid of the Scissor, getting rid of the Uxie, because if the Uxie was still alive, that thing would have been scary. Although I did have Kilowattrel, it was Terra Water, so at the very least, you would have had to swap out, which would have helped. I am curious how much that would have done now. But
I was not bulking on Uxie, so it would have done a lot. You had Terra Blast.
Gotcha. But no, it was a really great game, and it's one of those I had to hyper-focus just because Aaron never... One thing I'll never describe Aaron's sets as being unoriginal or anything like that, because I've seen some sets that I wouldn't think of come from Aaron's matches, and they've nearly cost me in the past, but I've gotten bailed out by RNG against that Petrunt.
Well, the first time. The second time it was Bronzong.
Yeah, the second time was Bronzong, and there was no bailing me out that time. But no. Anything you wanted to say before we wrap up, Aaron?
Good game.
It really was, and it was terrifying. But greatly appreciate you all for stopping by. JG, Addy, and Talon, really appreciate you guys commentating. Really appreciate you all stepping up tonight so we can get this match in. We have one more match for Week 5 tomorrow. That'll be me on the call. So please come on back. We do have one more week before we go into the bye week. But from us here at TBL, whatever you're doing in life, just making sure you are having fun with it. We appreciate you all. Have a good one. Take care.
All right.